This podcast is brought to you by The Senior Techie, a source of information for seniors and others about technology. As I was looking at the material for today, I kept thinking about how much energy we put into the financial side of retirement. We've got the 401k, the estate plan, the whole portfolio. But the Senior Techie points out this massive gap in our strategy. We plan the funding for our independence, but we completely ignore the logistics of it.
That's it, exactly. It's the who is going to run the show problem.
Huh.
We all just assume, well, we'll handle it ourselves, or maybe our kids will just step in. But the reality is that aging isn't just a healthcare issue. It's a really complex project. It needs actual management.
Right. It's literally project management for aging. But the Senior Techie is very specific here. This isn't about hiring some, generic senior advisor. We're talking about a very specific tier of experts. They're called aging life care professionals.
And that distinction is, I think, the most important thing to take away from this. There's just a sea of people out there calling themselves patient advocates or navigators. But the Senior Techie really emphasizes a specific gold standard here, and that is membership in the Aging Life Care Association, or ALCA.
ALCA. And that's not just some badge they can buy online, is it? The Senior Techie notes that to be an ALCA member, you're looking at, well, really rigorous standards.
Oh, absolutely. These are people with higher education in things like gerontology, nursing, social work.
So a clinical background.
Clinical background, yes. And a strict code of ethics. Plus, they usually hold the Care Manager Certified Credential, the CMC. It ensures you aren't just getting a companion. You're getting a professional who understands the systems.
And I imagine that clinical background is just crucial because of what they do. And one of the biggest things the Senior Techie highlights is their ability to spot things a family member would just miss.
Especially with cognitive decline. A daughter might think mom is just being forgetful or, slowing down.
Right, normal aging.
An aging life care manager knows the difference. They can spot the early signs of dementia or Alzheimer's and provide that objective eye before it becomes a real crisis.
Which takes a massive burden off the family. I was just floored by this statistic the Senior Techie shared. 40 to 70% of family caregivers suffer from significant symptoms of depression. That's a crisis.
It's burnout. It's burnout, plain and simple. Families try to be the 24/7 crisis manager. When you hire a professional, they become that point of contact. They're the ones taking the 3 a.m. phone call so the daughter can just be a daughter again, not a case manager.
And for anyone listening who's thinking, well, that sounds expensive, the data actually flips that argument on its head. The Senior Techie reports that coordinated care from these pros can reduce hospital readmissions by up to 20%.
Which is massive. Just think about it for a second. Maybe they spot that a senior is mismanaging their medication at home. By fixing that one small thing, they prevent a fall or a drug interaction that leads to a, $10,000 hospital stay. It's preventative maintenance.
And it's holistic, too. It's not just about pills. They're coordinating financial, legal, and social aspects. But the tricky part is always the timing. When do you actually bring someone like this in?
Well, the triggers are often things in the environment. The house is getting unsafe, or there's confusion over finances. But the biggest red flag, it's family conflict.
When the siblings start fighting over what to do.
That's the signal. If the family is burned out or arguing, you need that neutral expert to come in and just help mediate a care plan.
So the advice from the Senior Techie is clear. Be proactive. Don't wait for the wheels to fall off. Build this network before the crisis actually hits.
Exactly. It really forces us to redefine what independence means. We think it means doing everything all alone. But maybe real independence is just knowing you have the right advocate in your corner, someone who can execute your wishes when you no longer can.
That is a really powerful way to think about it. The smartest investment might not just be in a 401k, but in the person who makes sure your voice is heard. This podcast was brought to you by the Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to keep up with their newsletters, you can subscribe for free by going to theseniortechie.com.